Hi guys! My name is Julia Kelley. I am an astrologer and a tarot reader and a psychic intuitive. I just wanted to do a tarot pool for each zodiac sign because right now we're all going through some stuff, not only with the whole quarantine, COVID thing going on, but also just the retrogrades we have right now. We have Pluto, Saturn, Jupiter, and Venus in retrograde. And as soon as Venus goes out of retrograde, we have Mars going into retrograde. So we just have quite a lot of things going on right now. I want to just do a pool for each sign to just give you guys a little bit of clarity. And I'm actually going to start with Pisces and go the opposite way that we usually go. Because we're in that retrograde motion. Okay, Pisces. So here are the cards that I pulled for you. We have the reverse King of Swords, the Seven of Cups, and then the reversed High Priestess. All right, so a few things going on with these cards right now. The main thing it's showing me is that y'all have a lot going on. You have a lot going on, and that's okay. What is easy to allow happen when there's a lot going on, especially being a Pisces sun, is that everything just kind of blends together and you swim through it all rather than stepping back, organizing it, and clearing a path. So right now, you might be a little bit jumbled in reality. You might just feel like things are too hard to keep track of. You don't know what's up from down, what's right from wrong right now. Specifically the Seven of Cups, this is all about decisions. This is about options. You have options right now, even if you don't know them, even if you can't see them, there's options. And then the other side of this is that you have to be kind of decisive. What do you really want right now? There may be some opportunities coming up, whether that be romantically, or whether that be career-wise, or even living situations can be a theme right now. And these opportunities may not actually be in your best interest. So when we see the Seven of Cups, it tends to deal with things that are available to you, but may not be the best choice. So really take awareness, take inventory of the options and the opportunities that you have, and make a decision on what makes the most sense for you long term. Even though we can be in this scarcity mindset right now with everything going on, make sure that the decisions you're making make sense for you. Make sure they make sense for you. When I look at the King of Swords here and the High Priestess, these energies are kind of coming together here. The reversed King of Swords and the reversed High Priestess. Yeah, this can show that there may be some dominant energy in your life right now, whether that be masculine dominant energy, not necessarily being from a identifying male, but just masculine energy, where it may feel like someone's out to get you, or it may feel like people are taking advantage of you. Try not to play too much into this victimhood mentality, and realize that you have options, you have choices. So what are you doing right now to move yourself forward? What do you have control over? You may not have control over everything right now, and again, be wary of putting too much trust into one option or one person. Be aware that you have your own opportunity to make a change in your own life. And when we look at the reversed High Priestess, this is really speaking to that. The reversed High Priestess is obviously showing us that we don't have all of the connective intuition that we usually do right now. And I think this is really a theme for a lot of people, but especially for Pisces right now, where your usual intuition may feel a bit cloudy. It may feel a bit off. You may not be able to tell if like what you're hearing is what you actually should be following, or what you're feeling is like real. So pay attention to the messages that are outside of you. That's what I'm getting for you guys. You may be getting a lot of things coming through your dreams or coming through your own thoughts or your own intuition here, but try and pay attention to what's being validated outside of you. So what signs and signals are you seeing? Words, songs, shapes, colors, patterns, anything like that that you continuously are seeing, that's what you should listen to. This can also help you to get a little bit outside of your own head and start to focus more on what's going on around you. Aquarius, what do you guys have going on? So, the cards that have come up for you, we have the Ten of Wands, the Hierophant, and the reverse King of Pentacles. These go very much together, and it makes sense that this is something that you guys might be experiencing right now. Again, as Aquarius suns are dominant Aquarius placements, but specifically speaking for the suns right now, the Aquarius suns. The Ten of Wands, you have responsibilities. You have responsibilities right now. If you look at the imagery of this card, you might really relate to it. Feeling like there's so much on your back right now, feeling like you can't hold it all, but you have to. And this makes sense, you know, going through a time like this where things are unpredictable. If you have a job that does not, that relies on being in person, or a job, an unconventional job, those may not be available right now. And this is very common for Aquarians to have, is a job that isn't a 9-to-5, that isn't structured and set in place. And so there may be a lot of unknowns right now. What's going to happen next? What's going to happen to you? What's going to happen to the people you love? And then the other side of it is the societal responsibility that we see here as well. It's holding weight for other people, feeling like you have to do something right now to help people, but you don't know what to do. What I want to say here first is that you have the right knowledge to act. So whatever it is that you're feeling like you should help with or you should do, follow that. It will make sense. At the same time, don't avoid your own responsibilities and what you have to take care of for yourself first, right? Put your mask on before you put someone else's mask on, quite literally speaking right now. The King of Pentacles reverse, this is going into this, but also reminding you that it's not all about money. So if things are unstable right now, really pay attention to those pings that you're getting to maybe do something radically different with your life, to maybe try something that doesn't make conventional sense, to do something different that can help people, but again, may not make sense or fit perfectly into how you've been living your life. This is a reminder that it's very easy to become obsessed with money and with practical gain, but this is a time right now where everyone is going through this and no one has the right answer, and it's very easy to lose yourself in your own gains and what you're trying to take care of for yourself. But just remember that money is definitely not everything, and this time should be a reminder of that. Pay attention to where you're feeling empty. Even if you are sustaining a job right now, or if you are working a lot, or if you are just really hustling to make sure that you're okay, that's all fine and well. But just remind yourself that it isn't all about money. So how are you taking care of yourself, looking out for yourself in other ways right now? Mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, all of these things are really important, and they're very connected to the money that you're making. So just be aware that there's much more than meets the eye to what's in front of you, and you know that. Aquarians tend to work best when they can get above and look below. So if you feel too claustrophobic where you are, see if you can just remove yourself from a situation physically or mentally and get some perspective. The last card here, the Hierophant, this is all about tradition, education, and when we think of this card reversed, it tends to be very connected to Aquarius because it's rebellion, it's going against tradition. But when we see it upright like this, it's actually about reconnecting with your values, reconnecting with the traditions in your life. Right now your routine may be thrown off, your life may be taking a totally different road even though you had mapped it out in a different direction. So just be aware that there's an opportunity right now to reconnect with your inner values, to realign your values, and a lot of that comes back to community. Be connected to the communities that you're in. If you feel disconnected, maybe this is an opportunity to find a new community. Everyone's going through this right now in some way, and maybe there's people who are going through what you're going through pretty exactly, who may just be down the street from you, or across the world from you, but you can access them on the internet. So this is a reminder that you have community and that community is very important to you. So find them, and even if it's through a means that you may not traditionally go toward, see if you can go a little bit deeper, find those inner values, find the things that made you feel safe as a child or as you were growing up, and see if you can reconnect with that part of yourself in a community. Capricorn. Okay, let's see what we got going on for Capricorns. So much this year, honestly, Caps. There's a lot going on this year. And a lot of it is obviously connected to what's going on in society, but all of this action, all this planetary action is going on in Capricorn. So it's very personal for us. So the cards that have come up for you Capricorns, the Hanged Woman, the Princess of Pentacles, and then the Two of Cups. So I'll talk a little bit about all of these here. Starting with the Hanged Woman, this is a time of waiting. This is just strictly a time of waiting. You may be feeling like something bigger is here, something bigger is coming, but it may not actually physically, literally be in front of you yet. Be okay with the waiting period. This is a time to really make things happen before they happen, right? And we love doing that. Capricorns love preparing for things. This is the time to prepare. And even if you feel like you've been preparing and you're like, okay, I'm ready, see what else needs to be aligned. If something's not here for you yet, that's because you're not ready for it. If something is not here for you yet, that's because you're not ready for it. And the Hanged Woman is just really speaking to this. It's not the time to act yet. It's the time to really wait for the right move. Wait for something to come to you. Obviously, there's a lot of things happening around you right now, and you may just kind of feel like things are a bit stagnant for you. Like maybe things aren't affecting you the same way that they've been affecting everyone else, and you're kind of wondering, when is your time this year? You feel these things happening for yourself. You don't know when it's coming. Just be patient. Know that things around the end of this year are going to start really picking up for Capricorns. The things that you've been setting in place, even if they haven't been the right things, whatever you've been setting in place is going to really start playing out at the end of this year. This right now is really a time for preparing for all of that. And that kind of goes into the Princess of Pentacles here. The Princess of Pentacles is all about grounded approaches. This is about taking your idea and making it a reality through your grounded, practical approach. This is all about going step by step, really using your knowledge of something, using your experience, your wisdom to be able to take the right approach towards something. So specifically career is obviously always a theme for Capricorns, but right now it may really be a theme. But it's also connected to these other aspects of your life that you may not always think of, like relationships, like your creativity, like your artistry, also your health, your foundation. Foundation is a huge theme for Capricorns this year. And so when we think of Princess of Pentacles, it's asking us to step into our foundation and to work from it, rather than trying to use someone else's formula, someone else's algorithm to figure something out for yourself. Really build it from your knowledge, from your understanding, and move forward. If you feel like you don't have the right plan in place right now and you're looking externally for someone to guide you, take a step back and start drawing out the map yourself based on what you feel, based on your intuition, but then also what you know, your logical ability to see something and to plan something out. Don't forget your skills in this time just because things are thrown off. And then the Two of Cups. This is all about partnership. This can be an actual sign that some of you may be meeting people right now that become partners in one way or another. This can be a sign that if you're in a partnership, that there's a real need for building that out a bit more beyond just romantic or maybe beyond platonic, but really creating a union, creating an ability to exchange equally with someone. So specifically what I'm getting with this Two of Cups is it's acknowledging that you're not alone on your journey. Capricorns always want to act like they're alone in everything, and a lot of times you are alone as you're going through something, but you're not alone, and there's people right now who can really help you, who can help help you to take what's in your mind and bring it out, or even just being there as kind of a cheerleader along the way, someone to hold your purse, or hold your phone as you're climbing up the mountain, right? So be aware that you have people as resources right now. You are not alone, and there may even be some really abundant opportunities to connect with people in your life right now. So don't close those off, don't block them off just because you're focusing on yourself. Be aware that focusing on yourself also involves the people who you're connecting with. All right, Sagittarius, how are you guys doing? Kind of mixed emotions, huh? I can sense that maybe there's some of you that are like, I'm good. And then there's another boat who is like about to drive off the edge there. So the cards that have come up for you guys, we have 3 reverse cards. 1 is reverse Judgment, 2 is the reverse Knight of Cups, and then 3 is the reverse Princess of Swords. So a few different messages here. Overall, take a breath, and it's okay to feel your emotions. It's okay to feel your emotions. Looking into this reverse Judgment card, I'm just getting that, you know, you're feeling really hard on yourself right now. You're being very hard on yourself. Why can't I figure this out? Why isn't this working out? Why is my life not working the way that it usually does or that it's supposed to? You're not the only one who's experiencing this. Everyone's going through this on some level and some degree. So you're not the only one, and don't put yourself in this box where you're ridiculing yourself for your behavior, for your habits, for the way that you're spending your time right now. See if you can find some grace, see if you can find some mercy for yourself. Just some love. Give yourself a hug. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. There's a lot of confusion right now and confliction, and your usual free sense of self has been captured and captivated in a way that may not have been your ideal situation. So whether you're quarantined with someone that maybe you wouldn't otherwise be spending as much time with, or you're just stuck with yourself in a lot of ways, just really take a step back from being too judgmental about what you're going through and how you're acting. And don't doubt the things that are coming to you, right? If you're getting a message to do something, if you keep getting this like sign or signal, you're like, hey, I need to do this, I need to figure this out, or maybe I should try this, or even something on the other end of this where it's like, I need to really stop doing this, or this isn't good for me. Listen to those things, right? When we build self-trust, it comes from listening to the intuitive pings we get, and a lot of the self-doubt and like anger you might be feeling right now toward yourself, it's likely coming from not listening to your intuition, not listening to your logical mind as well. When we ignore things, they're all going to come up and out right now because we're stuck in the same reality day to day. There's not much that's changing, that's shifting on a day-to-day basis right now. Things are very stagnant. So you're gonna confront some emotions that you may otherwise not want to confront. See if you can really be compassionate for yourself right now. The Knight of Cups, this is reversed. This is really speaking to relationships. If a lot of you are stuck in a relationship right now, and when I say stuck, it could actually mean like in a relationship that should have ended, should be ending, that might have been over if quarantine hadn't started, or you just feel stuck and maybe the relationship's fine, but you just feel stuck. This has everything to do with maturity and specifically immaturity. Feeling like you might be codependent on someone or looking for someone else to really satiate your deeper emotional needs. There can be a lot of disputes happening right now where you're almost fantasizing or idealizing this perfect situation, this perfect scenario with someone that's not the reality of it. That can take a literal form right now where either you're overemphasizing how good something is when maybe it's actually not going that good, or you're thinking about the way that you want something to be, Maybe it's about someone that you haven't been in quarantine with, but that you're thinking of or that you're communicating with. Just try to be mature in the way that you're approaching romance right now. Know that there's never going to be a perfect person or a perfect situation. And if your life is a little bit scattered and all over the place, there's definitely not going to be a perfect person who's going to come and fix it all. And putting pressure on someone else to be that perfect person might put you in a worse situation, kind of going back to this Judgment card, right? Where you don't want to put yourself in a situation where the relationships that do mean something to you, whether they're romantic or platonic, end up feeling like they don't support you right now because you're putting too much pressure on them, or because you're putting too much emotions into them. And kind of going off of that, the reverse Princess of Swords, this is just speaking to having maybe too much of a slip of a tongue right now, maybe saying things that you could have kept in, saying things that maybe don't need to be said, maybe a need to close a conversation before it gets into a cycle of argument or a cycle of back and forth, not needing to prove yourself verbally in everything that you're doing with someone right now. There can be a need to really express yourself creatively because you're captivated, because you may not have as much free roaming space, and that energy needs to go somewhere. You may be putting it into the people that you're around right now, the conversations you're in, trying to prove yourself, trying to overcompensate mentally or verbally. So just be aware that what you say holds energy, and when you say something, if you really don't mean it, that can negatively affect someone. So just be aware that what you're saying is impacting the space that you're in. Think a little bit more clearly about some of the words that you might be using. And if you do feel a real need to release and you feel like there aren't people who are hearing you, or that you don't have a good enough situation right now to freely express, write, sing, talk to yourself. Just work through those verbal emotions without necessarily needing to rely on someone else to give you feedback on that. Okay, Scorpio, what do we have in store? Oh, you guys are actually kind of going through an okay time right now. I'm just seeing, maybe not everyone, right? But there's a very beautiful clearing for you guys. It makes sense. Let's see. Yeah, it can be kind of connected to memories and things that are coming to the surface that maybe you want to keep down, but there's a beautiful release that's available if you allow those to come up. So a few different cards for you guys. First, we have the Ace of Swords, and this came out sideways. Whenever a card comes out sideways, I like to look at both of the meanings, because they may both be kind of playing back and forth with each other. The Eight of Wands here, the reverse Tower, which is a pretty intense card, and then the reverse Six of Swords. So a few different things going on here. What I'm really seeing overall is that there's things that are happening right now. Like, things are picking up. You may feel pretty busy right now. There may be like a new, you may have started something new, a new project or a new commitment. It could even be a new job or something that just feels like it's kind of that new normal where it's like, oh, all of a sudden my days are filled with this. And I didn't really think that was what it was going to be like now, but now I have this responsibility and I also have this responsibility. And when we look at the Eight of Wands, this is really speaking to that, where there's a lot of rapid things happening right now, where things are just kind of moving, it's kind of going, and you just have to say, okay, I'm going to go with it. This is also a positive card though, because it shows a lot of progress. So I'll say for Scorpios here, with anything that you have going on, even if it doesn't totally feel right, just know that it's all progressing in the way that it should. That there's things that are happening right now that, again, may not feel good. You may be going through a lot of intense emotions, but they're supposed to be happening. And then when we look at the Ace of Swords here, so coming out sideways here, this is showing me that there's some of you right now who may be having drastic breakthroughs where you're like, yes, this is what I want to do. This is who I am. This is who I want to be with. Whatever that may be, you're having a breakthrough I'm getting that it's identity. It's really connected to identity for you guys. When we look at the reverse meaning here, this can be confusion. So I see that this can go together because you may be having realizations right now about who you really are. Like, this is me. I found myself. Here I am. But then simultaneously, you might be feeling, okay, well, I see myself and I know myself now, or I'm finding this new version of myself, but I don't know where to put it. I don't know what to do with it. It doesn't fit into this life that I have. Or connected back here to the Eight of Wands is that you may have something that's changing, something that's shifting, and simultaneously you're having this breakthrough, but it's like, hold on, I just need to slow things down. And so just be aware that all of this is really connected. Pluto is doing a lot of stuff this year in the sky. We have Pluto retrograde right now, which is a lot of why I'm doing this reading, and Pluto rules Scorpio. And so just be aware that there's a lot of things that are moving under the surface, and that is going to play directly into Scorpio's lives right now. There does not need to be a lot of overthinking on your end right now. You do not need to overthink your way into a hole. There tends to be a reaction to life circumstances where you want to overthink and like really analyze them. The analysis isn't needed as much right now, and in fact you're not really going to have space to analyze, and that may be what feels discomforting, but trust that that's supposed to be happening. You're supposed to just kind of be going through the motions of it, even if it doesn't totally feel comfortable right now. The reverse tower, let's talk about it. This is not the best card to get. The reverse tower and I have a long relationship, and you know, this card, I think the best way to explain this card is that it's kind of like, it's like the forest fire that cuts the life out and ruins what was previously there. And there's hurt, there's loss, there's pain, there's discomfort, but then it clears way for new life to form. And maybe those trees grow to be 20 times higher and 100 times more vibrant, and new species are able to live there as well. So this card is just really, it's a sign that there may be things right now that are signaling to you that something might change in your life. It might have already happened, and it might put you in a position where you're not stable. It's not going to be a good change, but it's kind of has to happen. When we have a reverse like this, it is kind of a sign. So I do want to say that for anyone, this isn't going to be for everyone. So it's really only if you feel connected to this message as I say it, and not your fear connecting to it, but your actual intuition saying, okay, I need to listen to that. So take a moment to connect with your intuition, remove the fear. If you feel like there's something you need to take action on that you've been avoiding, or that you've been kind of neglecting, take action on it. And it may not be something that's fun and sexy. It may be something that's like paying your taxes, or getting a job lined up, or figuring out where you're gonna make money from in the next month, or paying rent. These things are not fun, and these are unfortunately a lot of things that we're dealing with right now collectively. But this is just a sign that if you're getting an intuition about something that you really need to do something, or you need to figure something out, follow that. Or else the way that the tree falls, the way that the building falls, might leave more damage than necessary. So just keep in mind that there may be some really beautiful things going on for you guys right now. That does feel like this new beginning, like you can trust the universe. And then there may be this other side where it's like, but you do need to also make sure that you're taking care of the things that you need to take care of. So the intuition, of course, comes most into play there. So just always coming back to that intuition. So the last card here, the Six of Swords, these cards actually really go together here. And I'm getting kind of another layer on this message here is you might be stuck in something right now. So this card is all about being stuck. This is about feeling stuck. You might be stuck in something right now, and you know you need to get out of it, kind of going back to like what needs to happen. Do you need to leave something? Do you need to end something? Do you need to figure something out? You know that you need to take action, but you're just kind of allowing yourself to stay stuck, to stay passive. These are just so intertwined here. Listen to the messages, keeping yourself stuck, keeping yourself in something that's not satisfying you or that may even be detrimental to some aspect of your life, specifically your health. Just be aware that you have all of the tools you need to make a change, but you're gonna have to make the change. No one else is gonna do it for you, and if they do, it's gonna probably end up in a situation that could have been prevented. So just be aware that your intuition might be giving you some signs and signals that you need to listen to right now. And even though it's going to be hard to make a change, it's really going to be for the best. It's really going to be for the best. And kind of to leave on this note, there is so much breakthrough here for you guys. So it's very connected to the breakthrough. So don't feel like it's the end of something. It's breaking through something, right? It's ending a cycle. It's moving on to something else. And all of that is for the best. Libra feels very like different buckets of experiences right now. I sense that the experience for you guys is very divided, and the cards are kind of showing that as well, but there's some themes here. The first thing I want to talk about here, so we have the Emperor, we have the reverse Knight of Wands, we have the reversed Hermit. So like these two cards are very different. So let me talk a little bit about what's coming through here. The Emperor, this is very much speaking to authority, to power, and I'm seeing that there's a dynamic here where it's like this card is a theme in a lot of Libra's lives right now, but it's showing up differently. So for some people, this may feel like you are under attack in some way, or that there's like some kind of authority figure that you're looking to or relying on. Could be a boss, could be someone in your home, or it could even just be like society, like looking toward authority. And this authority it can support you, but it can also feel like it's giving you some grounding right now. It's giving you some safety of like, I have this to rely on, like this person I can go to, or this feeling I can go to, where you don't feel like you're alone, where you don't feel like you have to figure out everything on your own. There is some passive feeling here when interpreted this way. The other end of this that I'm getting is that it's very much related to the traditional meaning of the Emperor, which is really about stepping into your own power, which is really about understanding that you hold a lot of power and that you have the ability to kind of take lead on that power, to lead your own path, to even guide others right now, and to really just like step into your own your own power, just realizing that you have the control over your life. And even in business, in your work, there may be a need for someone to step up and figure something out, to take lead. You're a cardinal sign. Cardinals are meant to take lead. They're meant to drive home an idea, to figure something out and present it in a way that makes sense. So if you feel like you're being called to like find solutions to something right now, or step into more leadership, do it. Do it. You may be feeling some fear, and I think that's where I'm getting the fear from, is it's like, can I do it? Am I the one who's supposed to do it? Yes, you are. Step into that power, step into that leadership role. It is here for you. The reversed Knight of Wands here. This is just speaking to, and a lot of these are going together, but they're showing up in different ways. What I'm getting here is like really connected to finances, really connected to logistic decisions. Don't make impulse decisions right now. Like impulse shops, like shopping, like buying things online that you don't need, buying things just because you're bored, making a decision like going somewhere, seeing someone just because you're like, yeah, I want to do that. That makes sense. Think through the things that you're doing. I'm just saying, like, when we see this, there can just be some impulse some reactivity that can cause these mini fires that you have to put out. And especially if this theme is ringing true for people of like needing to step into power, you don't want to have to start putting out a bunch of fires in your personal life. So just be aware of like the decisions you're making, and specifically those little decisions that may not seem like they matter much, like little money leakages. Like, where are you spending money? What are you spending your time on? But also like things that may just become reactive, where you're just like stuck in a routine and you're reacting to something a certain way, you're reacting to a person a certain way. Be careful who you're reaching out to right now as well, is what I'm getting. Like, if you feel like lonely, or if you're just kind of like, hey, I want to reach out to this person, or I'm thinking of this person, or I want to hang out with this person, just make sure that you're really conscious about that choice. Like, that you're not just doing it because you're lonely, that you actually want to connect with that person. There may be some like old friends that come back into your life, or old romances as well, that specifically I'm getting more like friends or like types of people that may not be the healthiest for you right now. Even though you're going through the same experience, doesn't necessarily mean that you are supposed to have them in your life. So just don't digress on the things you've been working on. Even though we're in this phase where it can feel like it's easy to digress, just keep in mind the things that you've been working on. You have a path, and it's calculated when you put time and effort into calculating it. If you don't put time and effort into that, then it can become passive, and that's where those little fires come up. Lastly, we have the reversed Hermit. And this, I guess, is just really speaking to like the underlying Libra energy right now, but also more specifically to some people who may be experiencing this, where just loneliness, you're just feeling lonely. And this card, this could probably speak to a lot of people, because we're in this lockdown, because we're in this experience where we don't have our normal social activities going on. But specifically for Libra, you might just be feeling you're missing people. You're missing like not necessarily specific people, but just people. Like, you want to be around people, and you're missing that, and that's okay. And specifically for the people who might be alone right now, call your friends, call people who you love. Allow yourself to also really go in and answer some questions for yourself right now. This is a beautiful time to take a chance on yourself, to take a chance on knowing yourself. You may be used to distracting yourself with romance, or with friendships, or with socializing, or with partying, whatever it is. That's not going to fulfill you right now. It's not going to work out right now, because we're going through these transitions. So allow yourself to try something new with yourself. What are you going to dive into today? What are you going to dive into this week? What do you want to learn more about yourself? What do you want to uncover? These are all really valid questions that may not get much attention, but can probably really help you to relieve some of those feelings of loneliness right now.